far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, won't you let the light shine through. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this special Elite FPL podcast, if you want to call it that. Yes, as you can see up on screen, as you all know, you're fully aware of what's happened today. The Premier League has been cancelled along with every other sporting event that you can imagine. And I'll just lay it on the line right now. I think it's the best decision that's been made over the past 3, 4, 5 weeks. Excuse the pun, but it's been brewing for a while, and I've been saying all along that I think that the whoever's in charge of sport in general, I've always said that I believe that nothing will happen because there's too much money at stake. But thankfully, they've actually used their bloody heads, and they've done what's the right thing to do, which is cancel all sporting events, essentially. I'm going to sit here now and I'm going to say this. I am no expert in this field. I'm just a bloke sat in his bedroom right now. In fact, I'm probably more angry at the fact that it took me about 45 minutes to find a stupid thumbnail for this than anything else, to be honest with you. But that's by the by. So I'm basically, to be honest with you, I'm just going to be reading. I'm going to be reading a lot, by the way. Because, like I said, I'd rather just read off my phone or what I'm about to put up on screen in a second, then I will just spouting off my own opinion, because to be honest with you, like I said, I'm no expert in any of this and I'd rather just leave it. But up on the screen at the moment, as you can see, is the Premier League will convene in an emergency club meeting tomorrow morning regarding future of Mikel. Pity say I put up of course I've put up the wrong tweet, because of course I didn't read it properly. You're an idiot. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, that. Here we are. Done. Right. There we are. However, what I can do is, there we are. The Premier League, FA, EFL and Women's Super League have collectively agreed to postpone the professional game in England. Right. Thank you. So that's that there, done. However, what I do want to bring to your attention is the actual statement itself, and I'm going to read it off the screen. So up on screen, I've just put up what the statement is. Following a meeting of shareholders today, it was unanimously. Here's a clip. Unanimously. Hooray! Well done, Steve-O. Fucking hell. Decided to suspend the Premier League with the intention of returning on 4th of April, subject to medical advice and conditions of the time. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters said, "Above all, we wish Mikel Arteta and Callum Hudson-Odoi speedy recoveries and everyone else affected by COVID-19. In this unprecedented situation, we are working closely with our clubs, government, the FA and EFL, and can reassure everyone the health and welfare of players, staff and supporters are our priority. Despite the challenges, it is the Premier League's aim to reschedule the displaced fixtures, including those played by academy sides, when it is safe to do so. In this fast-moving environment, further updates will be provided when appropriate." So that statement was obviously released this morning. You are all aware of this. And what I will do now is I will put up... Well, sorry, I won't put up at all because I can't. I'm going to read, again... There's not going to be much interaction today. There will be, but there's not going to be much interaction today at all. I will read what Football 365 have put up, because they're very, for me, they're basically my football information. And essentially this is what they've said. So, the Premier League issued a statement on Thursday evening insisting it was business as usual. But then the clubs began to reveal how much they had been affected by the coronavirus, which led to all English league matches being postponed until April the 4th. On a club-by-club basis, here is what we know so far. Now, I want to reiterate this. This article by Football 365 was released at 11:08 this morning, so for all I know, there's probably been some more updates. But here we are. So, Arsenal. It was confirmed on Thursday evening that Mikel Arteta had tested positive for coronavirus. The club said, "Our London Colnell Training Centre has been closed after head coach Mikel Arteta received a positive COVID-19 result this evening. Arsenal personnel who had recent close contact with Mikel will now self-isolate in line with government health guidelines. We expect this to be a significant number of people from Colney, including the full first team squad and coaching staff, as well as smaller number of people from our Hale End Academy, which we have also temporarily closed as a precaution. We expect those who did not have close contact with Mikel to return to work in the coming days. In the meantime, our Colnell and Hale End training centres will undergo a deep clean and our other club sites are operating as normal." Chelsea. The Blues cancelled training on Thursday to allow their training ground to undergo a deep clean after reports a staff member had developed symptoms. In the early hours of Friday morning, it was confirmed that Callum Hudson-Odoi had tested positive. The club said Chelsea's men's team player Callum Hudson-Odoi had a positive test result for coronavirus returned this evening. Chelsea personnel who had recent close contact with the player in the men's team building will now self-isolate in line with the government health lines. These will include initially the full men's team squad, coaching staff and a number of backroom staff. It is expected that those who did not have close contact with Callum will return to work in the coming days. In the meantime, the men's team building, one of several separate buildings at our training ground, will remain closed. The rest of our training facility at Stamford Bridge are operating as normal. And then Callum displayed symptoms similar to a mild cold on Monday morning and has not been at the training ground since then as a precaution. Moving on to Everton, the Toffees revealed on Friday morning that their first team squad was self-isolating. Everton Football Club confirmed that as a precautionary measure, its entire first team squad and coaching staff are undertaking a period of self-isolation following medical advice. The step has been taken after a first team player reported symptoms consistent with the coronavirus. The club is in regular contact with the player in question and is monitoring the well-being of all players and staff. The health, welfare and safety of all Everton players, staff and stakeholders is the club's absolute priority. Therefore, the club has taken the decision to close down all Everton workplaces, including various buildings. That's not actually what it said, but I'm trying to paraphrase now. Everton later issued a clarification. To clarify an earlier statement, Everton Football Club can confirm that one member of the Everton first team squad reported a high temperature last night and is now undertaking a period of self-isolation. And then, of course, in line with the government guidelines, that player is now self-isolating. Bournemouth. The Cherries confirmed on Friday morning that 5 members of staff, including goalkeeper Arthur Boric, were in self-isolation after developing symptoms. Bournemouth statement said goalkeeper Arthur Boric, along with 4 first-team members of staff, are self-isolating, etc., etc. Man City, as brought to you last night on Jason's excellent stream, and Jason hopefully will be joining me at some point. Admittedly, he is on holiday, by the way, so I'm not holding anything for that. I'd rather him actually be enjoying his holiday rather than coming on air to talk about this, but he did do a wonderful job last night. It was a fantastic show, Jason's stream last night, and if anybody wants to watch back, I highly recommend you watch Jason's show covering this issue regarding the coronavirus and what possibly could happen, although with now foresight and everything, we now know what has happened. Like last night it was broken that Benjamin Mendy is self-isolating as a precaution after a member of his family was admitted to hospital while showing symptoms of the virus. Well, straight away, breaking news from Boona. Thank you, mate. I'll read that in a second because, funny enough, I was a bit shocked by something that hasn't happened yet, but clearly something has, so I'll get onto that in a second. And then it was a club statement about the family member, blah, 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 blah. Leicester, Brendan Rodgers confirmed at his press conference on Thursday that 3 players have been kept away from the rest of the squad before the club issued a statement shortly after. It read, in recent days, all 3 players presented with extremely mild illness and were advised by the club medical staff, consistent with current government lines. All 3 players were subsequently advised by NHS 111 that their symptoms were consistent with common seasonal illness and that a 7-day period of self-isolation was appropriate. And then moving on to Watford, the Telegraph reported that the Hornets were waiting on test results after 3 players presented with symptoms of coronavirus and were sent home from training. One player reportedly was recovering after self-isolating early in the season, blah, blah, blah. The tests are due on Friday afternoon. And finally, the Hammers announced at lunchtime on Friday that several members of the club personnel are self-isolating after being in close contact with Mikel Arteta, and then obviously it's the same old statement again. Once again, I'm not going to apologise for reading because, like I say, I think this is quite important to get that information out there, which is all correct and present. And thank you to FPL Boone that's just posting the team screenshots. It does appear, finally, that the FPL game has finally tweeted out something, although it's pretty obvious what that would be, to be honest with you. Let's just quickly bring it up for everybody really up on screen right now. Of course, I've spelt it wrong. Typical. Official fantasy. Come on, load up. There we are. Thank you. So has this just been posted or what? So here we go. This is literally the Fantasy Premier League's Twitter page, and this is what they've tweeted out. This was tweeted a few moments ago. These are exceptional circumstances. We appreciate the understanding of FPL managers while the situation evolves. Yep, that's pretty obvious. What happens to the postponed fixtures? It is in the Premier League's intention to reschedule the postponed fixtures when it is safe to do so. Points scored in these fixtures will apply to the game. I think it's pretty much what we all know, to be honest with you. Everything that we know regarding the fantasy football game, let's be absolutely honest here, is what we expect. It's just going to go and fall in line, as it says here, regarding whatever the Premier League does, and obviously it's going to go into that. What's this? Here we go. Transfers wildcard. Managers must also be aware that any transfers made, wildcards or chips played in game week, where all fixtures are postponed, will not be reinstated. What? I want my -12 back. By the way, I'm taking the mick for anybody that gets a bit uptight about it. For managers who took a point hit for transfers, their game week scores will reflect points lost. For managers who took a point hit for transfers, their game week scores will reflect point. Yeah, right, fine. I suppose that's when the game recommends. I suppose. That's what I'm guessing anyway. So, yeah, it's pretty. If you're an intelligent human being, which I'd like to think majority of us are, then I'd like to think that is the case regarding everything. To be honest with you, I think let's be absolutely honest here. This takes precedent over anything. This health issue, this epidemic that's happening at the moment. I couldn't give a stuff about. In fact, do you know what? This is the truth. I couldn't be bothered to do this stream. I really didn't want to do it. I just wanted to come home and go to bed. Right? I'm absolutely battered from work. If anybody's watching this that works in retail, I flame and feel for you. It is like Christmas Eve, but without the staff. And it's just laughable, really. I could do a podcast about the disgusting way that retail head office / the people above treat their staff. I really nearly swore then, because I feel very passionate about this. But your pieces of garbage, let's just say your pieces of garbage, and the way you're treating your staff at the moment is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And anybody that's working in retail at the moment, I feel for you, because I work in retail as well. And the way that the companies are essentially trying to skinflint every single effing penny out of their staff and not giving out overtime is disgusting. And these are the pieces of garbage that, you know, they want to give out customer care, make sure the customer comes right, yet you treat the customers right now, right this second, during a pandemic, whatever bloody word you want to use, during this time, and you treat the customers like they're cattle. It's disgusting. A bit of a digression there, but I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from. Like I said, if anybody does work in retail, you'll understand that. I'm sure it applies to any business really, but I'm pretty sure that retail is the only... I've always said this, if the whole world went into quarantine, it went into lockdown, retail would still get their poor sods of staff to come into the shops, make sure everything's full, make sure everything's presented correctly, make sure everything's clean, just to get their flaming pennies worth out of you. It is disgusting. But like I said, I digress. So I do want to say, just what I will say is just hello to everybody that kindly joined me on this afternoon. I don't really want to be, I always say this, I'm fully aware of this, but I'm sure that everybody does appreciate that I don't really want to be going on at all. Salah saying the selfish sods filling whole trolleys full of toilet paper should get 5 years in prison. I wouldn't go that far. Yeah. Well, the company that I work for is now apparently limited, shall we say, products to 5 only. So even if it's like 5 chocolate bars, you can only have 5 chocolate bars. Now, Whether people go through with that or not, if you're working on the checkouts, that's a different story. But yeah, it's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible the way they treat their staff and customers and everything. Hypocrites is the word I'm looking for. Absolute effing hypocrites. But yes, Charlie's just announced here. So Charlie's making a point that of all days today, the Football Content Awards. Now you won't be aware of this, everybody, but the Football Content Awards has finally come out with the voting stage regarding, let's be honest here, content creators. And I'll just here we are here. Now before I get into it, I know for a fact Jason's done an absolutely... I've literally just seen it. I wish you could have seen the reaction. I've only just seen it and I was just like, what? That's amazing. Jason's skills coming into use again. But yeah, so essentially a few weeks ago, if you remember, the Football Content Awards Twitter page put out something about who's been your favourite football content creator over the last year. And thanks to people like yourselves, you all effing bombarded the Twitter, the tweet, the Twitter page, the tweet with just Elite FPL. So it's amazing. And basically today, and I knew this day was happening, they finally released details of how to vote in the Football Content Awards. And as Charlie's, if you're on Twitter, all you've got to do is exactly what Charlie is saying. So all you've got to do, do you know what? I don't even know myself what you've got to do. If anybody wants to let me know what you've got to do, to be honest with you, because here we are. So thank you to Charlie. It's quite simply this. All you got to do on Twitter is write to the words to the effect of, I am voting for @Elite FPL in the @FCAs for hashtag best in fantasy football. Now I'm sure Jason, in fact, you know what? Let's just bring it up. Because this is phenomenal. This is stunning. I was just like, what? I've only just come off, well, I say come off the phone to Jason, I haven't. It was a few hours ago, and here we are. Beautiful. Right, so hopefully I can put this as a picture, but I bet it's too big. Well, it is big, but it's not too big. Hold on a minute, there's Jason there, I'm sure it is. There's Boona. Hold on a minute, I can't hear you, Boona. Here we are. Hello, Boona.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Yep, I can help you.
No, I just thought I'd come in and join you, really, buddy. I just wanted to, the post that I'd put into team screenshots that you read.
Yes.
There's been several people over Twitter and Discord and WhatsApp groups I'm in analysing a bit further, and actually it's not as clear-cut and obvious as what we first thought, mate. So basically, they've said that game weeks 30 and 31 will be, essentially won't go ahead. But there's this whole confusion now that the points that anyone's taken this week, points deducted, for game weeks 30 and 31, everyone's going to get 0 points for every player. So we're going to get 0 for 31, 0 for 30. If anyone's taken any hits for 30, they're basically going to get -8 or -12 in your case for game week 30. Any chips they've played for game week 30, they'll lose their chips. Done. It's not going to be carried over to 32.
Hold on a minute. When did they post this thread? Oh, is this it here?
It's in the
No. I know. Sorry, I know it's in the Discord. I can't bring it up on screen. When did they post it?
Yeah, this was literally just half an hour ago, mate. Yeah.
What does the game week 30? Right, I've got something up on screen, so hopefully this is the right. This is right. Right, so up on screen now, everybody, is the tweet that Boone is talking about that he's put into the screenshots. But there's just so much convoluted BS. Here we are. Right, here we are. The deadlines for game week 30. This is the actual Fantasy Premier League. The deadlines for game week 30 and 31 will remain as scheduled times. It doesn't make sense. You're idiots. But
they are.
given all fixtures have been postponed for these game weeks, managers will earn 0 points for their players. Any activity managers undertake every day will apply to that game. Then,
can you imagine that? So basically, if you've got 2 free transfers right now, you need to use one by game week 31. If you're looking to save in 30, otherwise you'll lose it. It's just ridiculous, mate, honestly. So basically, the deadlines are going to stay the same. So after Monday night, game week 31 will start. If you make any transfers, you're going to lose points. If you use any chips, you're going to lose chips.
I agree with Gabriel De Rock. Why wouldn't they treat this like any normal postponement? It doesn't make any sense. That's just punishing. Like, I'll take the... I mean, Angus Gordon making the point that is mental. If a manager has played their chips, they don't get any benefit. I think what should be happening, like, again, I don't know how the Premier League is going to reschedule. I don't have a flaming clue, right? Nor do you, nor does anybody. But what you can say is that you'd like to think that, let's just say, the fixtures are back to say double game. No, how would they do it, Boone? They would have to fit it. How would it do? Because if these fixtures aren't obviously taking place the next essentially 4 weeks, nothing's happening with football. So yes, then they can't actually put those fixtures into a certain particular midweek, I suppose, is the only thing I can think of.
It's insane, mate. So all I can think of, essentially, the games that are in FPL game week 32 might be changed to those that were game week 30. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
It's just unclear. Yeah. It's just so unclear, mate.
So poor sods like, well, again, whatever, but poor sods like me that have done a hit. Anybody else that's done a hit in game week, this upcoming literally blank game week, I'm going to get a -12.
I'm not sure what's a worse response to this absolute mental thing that's going on right now. Boris Johnson on official FPL. It's a bit mad, isn't it? Right.
So Vish is saying I'm confused. Right. So basically, it is confusing, Vish, but it's not confusing. Julius as well, I don't understand the statement. So basically, I don't understand the statement either from the game. It's treating game weeks 30 and 31 game weeks 30 and 31 that are not going ahead. They're still technically counting them as game weeks. So you get 0 points because nobody's playing. However, if anybody uses chips or transfers like I have, then it will deduct those points. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that no one's done anything this game week, and they're rolling a transfer, and then the following game week 31 that doesn't exist, they decide to take a -4 by using 2 transfers and a hit. The -4 will get deducted. Your transfers will continue, but there'll be no points gained. So it's amazing. That is quite extraordinary.
It is. It's nuts.
How is that fair to people that did hits and whatnot before this announcement, though?
It's not. But I think, do you remember, Steve, when there was that hacking scandal earlier in the season?
Yes.
When enough people get together and people of seniority get together and say something, there might be something happening similar, because I can imagine there'll be a lot of people not happy with what they've just decided on there.
But what could you do, though? I mean, apart from stating the blinking obvious, what would the petition be?
To reinstate any sort of moves that were made in terms of chips and transfers, people might ask. Personally, I'm, from a selfish perspective, very happy because I've made no moves and I've used no chips because I don't have any left. But I'm like AVP. but we'll see what happens.
I mean, ironically, well, no, I'm not going to mention their name, but a certain person that has certain influence, shall we say, regarding another site. I think that they may be having a word with them, and I think, ironically, they're probably best to be equipped. You know what?
Mm.
Let's just see, actually. I won't do it up on screen, but I'm going to find out up on my phone if they've actually announced anything on their specific website.
Sorry. Oh.
Right, so, yeah. Here we go. Right, okay. Fair enough. So this is from Fantasy Football Scout today. The deadlines for Game Week 30 and 31 will remain as scheduled times. Any activity managers undertake ahead of each deadline will apply to that game week. I understand that. Given that all fixtures have been postponed for these game weeks, managers will earn 0 point. Yeah, I get that. For managers who took points hits for transfers, etc., their game week scores will reflect their points total. So people like myself, I'll get a -12. I get that. What about transfers, wildcard and chips? Managers must also be aware that any transfers made. Yeah, I'm just repeating everything that we just said. What happens to the postponed fixtures? It's pretty much as we know. What happens next? In this, yeah, we already know that as well. And then it just sums. I think personally, I'm just going to lay it on the line, to be honest with you. I think that Fantasy Football Scout has enough influence on the game that I think they need to have a serious conversation with whoever runs the game to discuss what you've just mentioned about, this situation. Because I couldn't care less. Like, personally, I've taken a -12. That was because I took a -12. If that's the ruling that they've come into play, that's fine. But I would rather it be taken away in Game Week 32. So if nobody doesn't know, Game Week 32, if I just bring it up on screen now, which is on the 4th of April. In fact, I wonder if the game's actually done anything on screen, actually. So this is the front of the page. Oh, here we are. Right, okay, so the actual game has actually put something up. That's only just gone up, to be fair. So hopefully this is up on screen. If this is not up on screen, yes, it is. Good. So I'm literally... This is the website, everybody. Yes, I accept it. It's the website. It's just stating the blinking obvious. It's just what I've literally just read out. I would happily, in Game Week 32, I would perfectly happily have the team that I've got, because that's the choice that I've taken to have that team. And that's when the -12 comes into play. I mean, look, I've got it up on screen right now, as everybody's seen anyway. Game Week 30 is completely blank. Game Week 31 completely blank, and then we go on to Game Week 32, which is Saturday the 4th of April, so in three and a half weeks time, there we are. And I think that's when the game should go right. That's when your -12 or your free hit still continues to be played. The fact that they have the audacity to say to someone, do you know if Charlie actually used his free hit? Do you know if he actually activated it?
I don't think he did.
Could you imagine if he did?
There will be people out there that have, though. That's the thing.
And the wild card.
Do you know what? It's messed up, man. Because so many people would have taken transfers like -8s in light of the next game week. Essentially, what they're saying is that hit they'll take the points off you, but the next game week is going to be Game Week 32. We don't know yet. Is Game Week 32 just going to be Game Week 30 games? I presume that's what it's going to be.
Well, not based on the way the FPL website's doing this. The FPL website is literally suggesting Game Week 31 and 32 are game weeks. Do not do anything in those particular 2 game weeks, because it will affect everything. So could you imagine if, I don't know, somebody decided to do a wild card after the deadline on Saturday, which doesn't exist, but there is going to be a deadline, and they decide to hit the wild card button, and then game week 32 comes around, and that means that the wild card has been used, but they can't use it for game week official 32. It would just be FPL Maestro, use the free hit to cancel the hit, Steve. I can't. That's the funniest thing. The funny thing is, Maestro, is that if I use the free hit, the team that I have this game week will have to be the same team that I use for game week 32, or would it revert? This is the confusing thing. Would it then revert back? So I use the free hit game week 30. Game week 31 comes along. Does my team then revert back to what it was without the
It
thing?
reverts back to your pre-transfer team.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
There's no point. That's just an absolute waste. I wouldn't suggest anyone does that.
No.
The only option I can think of is pressing the wildcard button.
Yeah.
That would be an option, because then you can set yourself for game week 32 onwards. But let's wait and see if there's any confirmation on whether game week 32 will be actually the fixtures that are at the moment scheduled for 32 or the ones that were scheduled for 30. We don't know that yet.
Godwin Affer, you just have to take the loss for making early. Me personally, I couldn't care less. I genuinely couldn't care less. I'm just shocked. Me personally, Godwin, I know you're not specifically attacking me, but I personally don't understand why the game is punishing anybody when it can still do the same thing.
Unforeseen circumstances, you know?
Yes, considering the circumstances that there is no games whatsoever, I think that the points hits or free hits and everything should still apply to game week 32, which I've got up on screen right now. So people like myself will have Giroud and Alonso and Martial and whoever else I brought in, for example. Do you think, Nasu making a point, do you think that double game week 32 will even happen, Boona?
Game week 32? I'll tell you what, I'm reading, and Jason is too, reading quite into this and watching the news quite a bit. And I know news media you kind of got to take with a pinch of salt because they tend to sensationalise things. But this stuff is spreading like wildfire right now, I'll tell you. And I'm not confident. I was supposed to be attending an Indian folk show next week at Wembley Arena. I'm glad it's got postponed because I was not looking forward to going there with there being 10,000 people there. I'm delighted it's been postponed.
The decision that the Premier League, FA, whoever have made to postpone all this makes absolute sense.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And Boris Johnson should have made that clear yesterday.
When you were on the show last night, I was just nodding my head and agreeing about what you were saying about the government are just clowns, basically. That absolute... That line about just everybody can get on with their lives as normal. Oh, but by the way, we know what will be happening in about 4 to 8 weeks' time because of what's happening in Italy or whatever. It's like you've been presented with a problem. You can come up with all the solutions because this problem has kind of been sorted out. You can take advantage of that, but you're just going to be that pig ignorant of not doing anything and just go, let's just get this virus coming over here now and not do anything about it until it hits us severely. I just think...
They've just got dollar signs coming out there.
That's what it is, right? Absolutely.
And how can they say that?
Stein,
sorry, Stuart.
No. It's not you. It's Stein. Stein, come on, mate. I know your Discord's working now. If you want to come live on air, please do and explain yourself, because saying that FPL are essentially scoring... Yeah, I get this. Everybody's scoring 0 points, but punishing every player who made early moves. I would love them to explain that. Yes, I completely agree. Like I said, I think that anybody that's taken a hit should have that hit taken off when the game resumes officially, whenever that may be, whether it's game week 32 or game week 42. You know, I just can't get my head around how a game can punish people. I mean, I think you're onto something, Booner. I think you're onto something regarding maybe a petition starting up. Maybe you could be the one that starts it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we need to start a hashtag boycott FPL or something. Something like that will get the fluids flowing for the FPL hierarchy.
I mean, people in chat, if you actually genuinely do think that Booner's onto something here, and I actually agree with him here, what do you think the argument should be? I mean, Booner, what genuinely? Obviously, let's just say you email the site itself, or you tweet about it or whatever. What exactly would you specifically say? Because you can't say boycott, because essentially you're saying I'm never going to be playing this game. I won't be playing this game for this season. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, but it is a message like that needs to be conveyed for them to actually do something. But again, it can't be a message that, you know, is sent by one person, 10 person, 100 people. That's something that needs to be trending, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus, and from people that are in power. So I personally wouldn't consider myself as one of those, but, you know, I've got contacts at FF Scout. I'm sure they'll be on top of it.
Hello, Stein. Come on, Stein. You were on with Jason last night. I'm sure you could be on with me.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon, Stein. Your thoughts on everything that's happened today in the last, quite literally, half an hour?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Steve, I think the person who made it for FPL is an idiot. Quite fit, frankly. They're a fool. Because I was just saying that they seem to want to give basically hours notice, or actually under 24 hours notice, because the deadline is 11:30 tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's under 24 hours notice for everyone who hasn't made a move, and then punishment for everyone who has made a move. To me, I think a very simple way to do this would be all transfers, every bit of activity that's been made from last game week is null and void, and it will go in. So if you've made transfers, they're now cancelled. You have to have
how can that be so hard to do? I don't get it.
Well, they did that. I remember. When was it? It was a couple of seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, when that happened regarding a wild card. I can't remember. Can anybody remember what happened? Can you remember, guys? Something happened when the wild card was reinstated again for everybody.
I can't remember.
You don't know.
Right, so basically, I'm sure someone in chat will know this.
In my opinion...
Stein, you've completely cut off there. What were you saying, mate? You completely cut off.
Sorry. To me, it seems like they want to punish all the serious players in the game. And anyone who's casual, who generally doesn't look at their teams and so on and so forth, are going to be absolutely...
So Samuel Yampson is saying, folks like me hit my free hit in game week 29, thinking it was going to be a double game week. I hate to say, but I fear they won't reinstate. No, they won't. Sam, you're stuffed, mate. You ain't going to be getting that reinstated whatsoever. That game existed. Game week 29 existed. But game week 30 and 31, they don't exist. So my argument is, and I'm sure everybody wants to, you know, I would like to think would agree with me here, is that I couldn't care less that I've taken a -12. I couldn't care less if I took a -30. I really couldn't care less. Take it off when the game actually uploads. But don't take it off when the game doesn't exist. That makes no sense whatsoever. And thank you, Anish. In fact, Anish is there. Let's just quickly bring on Anish. Hello, Anish.
How's it going, Lewis?
You've just... No, I'm Steve-O. Lewis is in the waiting room. You've just written in the chat regarding what happened with the wild card. Do you want to just tell everybody?
It was a couple of seasons ago in Game Week 1. Basically, the service crashed and people couldn't save their teams who were doing last-minute changes to the Game Week 1 team. So they just said that no points from Game Week 1 would count, and they just started the season at Game Week 2.
Did they give away a free wild card or something like that?
No, it wasn't a free wild card. It was just saying that they were going to disregard any points in Game Week 1.
So why
the FPL season would start in Game Week 2?
So why don't you think then this whole simple resolution like that can't be done this time round? That essentially, anybody that's taken hits, that will just happen in Game Week 32. If you've made your transfers, you made your transfers. That's fine. I hold my hands up. We've done that.
I think it's because it would just be too much hassle for them because of all the price changes and all that. And figuring out
they just freeze it.
What a certain player at.
They're in charge of this. They're the ones that it just reminds me of where I work. You've got a situation here where you've got half of London coming to one shop to buy various items and stuff. You know this, yet you're telling us that you can't give out overtime because you want to you just want to make money. It's the same with this. You guys are in charge. There's evidently an issue here. You can do anything you can to stop things from happening, and yet you won't do it, and you're just punishing people that play the game, like Stein has said. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a level playing field.
In fact, let's just quickly. You said hello to Lewis. Let's bring on Lewis. Lewis.
Hello.
Your thoughts on this? Because, like I said, I don't care about the hits. I couldn't care less if it is taken out in Game Week 32. But the fact that they have the audacity to take this out in Game Week 30, 30, I think it's here we go. I think it's disgusting.
It really is. I'm fuming about it, to be honest. It really is pathetic. I think there's such a simple solution, and I think what should be happening right now, and I've said this in the chat before, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but what should be happening right now regarding FPL is that the entire game should just be paused on Game Week 29.
Yes.
And the fixtures from 30 and 31 should still be on 30 and 31. Just
hold on.
The games actually play.
Well, hold on a minute. You can't say that because these fixtures now are going to be put somewhere. I have no idea where. Let's just say, for argument's sake, right? They're put in after the season. So you've got Game Week 38, and then these two sets of fixtures are then put as Game Week 39 and 40. Right?
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that though. I think they're going to add it as doubles and triples, which is gonna affect anyone that's used the chips.
So you think? Does anybody agree here? Boona, Stein, Anish, do you think that these fixtures will be put into like a midweek fixture slot, considering certain teams like Man City are still in the Champions League, Chelsea, Man United, and Europa League?
Apparently, they've suspended the Champions League for the season. I've been hearing.
Sorry.
Or is it?
No, it's just for the games the next week or something. That's what I read.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say
it's not indefinitely for the Champions League. That's not been confirmed.
I think for Game Week 31, it's more easy to put the fixtures in between the current game weeks because there's only 4 fixtures to rearrange for that game week.
Correct.
But for 30,
you know what
it could be more of a difficulty.
Sorry, Nick. You know what I find so strange is that they don't know when the fixtures are going to be, so how can they be even scoring or taking points away from people? No one has any idea as to when the fixtures are, so no one has any idea what team they want to have. Yeah. So yet they're still scoring. It makes no sense.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but can they not just, for whenever let's say April 4th, because obviously that's when they're planning to reschedule the fixtures. Why can't we have these game week 30 fixtures on April 4th, and then just continue like that?
Because that would make a lot of sense.
But it's all down to, it's like Boona said, it's all down to money really, and the fact that people will have gone out their way to book tickets for I don't know, for argument's sake, Watford versus Southampton, and they don't have. And they've made special
arrangements.
I know.
There's Man City Liverpool as an example. Man City Liverpool on Sunday. West Ham Chelsea. There's a huge games here, and I just can't get my head around the fact that they have the audacity to take a -12 during a week, during a game which just literally does not exist.
It's just really unfair. It really is, because we literally had no time to prepare for anything. The actual Premier League said that the games were going to go on yesterday. So I don't know. It's really, really unfair.
But Boona made the point. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the whole bloody country, actually come out and said, we're not cancelling football. Sporting events, large gatherings, don't worry about it. You know, his flaming, whoever his name is, Sir whatever, his medical advisor, saying that, don't worry about it. If someone's got the virus, they'll only affect a couple of people and that's it, done. It won't really do anything in the grand scheme. It's just like, what the are you going on about? Like, this is just ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense.
And what doesn't make sense as well is the fact that he said we're 4 to 5 weeks off Italy. Italy's basically in a crisis. They're all going into meltdown. So if we're 4 or 5 weeks off, how are these fixtures getting rescheduled in 4 or 5 weeks? What?
To be honest, the number of cases in the UK is going up by 200, 300 cases a day.
Literally. So that's what I mean. It's really, they're just contradicting themselves.
And I think Vish pretty much sums up everything. I just don't understand why they are treating the non-playing game week as an effing game week.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Literally, the easiest solution, the fairest solution for everyone would just be to pause it. Literally, just pause the game on 29. Don't make any hits or chips or anything count. Just pause it. Just pause the game. It's
exactly,
simple.
and it just resumes on game week 32. So if people like
I don't see why they had to do anything. I don't get it. I really don't. They could have just left the -8, not take the points away just yet.
I think it's
to do with the analytics of the game and the fact that they've already got it preset for these
They will,
Yeah.
but I think it's laziness because obviously they can change that. They've done it before. I think it's laziness. They just can't be asked changing it, really.
For people,
They can't.
Go on, Stein.
They can't. I mean, like I said before, giving people less than 24 hours notice before a deadline is pathetic. It really is. When you think the Premier League announced games will be going ahead, the Prime Minister said no sporting events will be cancelled. 4 hours later, they changed their mind, and then FPL are saying, "Oh well, everything stands. We'll take points off people, but we will give everyone no points." Well, why? Why don't you just take no points off everyone and give no one any points, so everyone's stuck where they are until you resume? That seems to be fair and reasonable. So I can't figure out who chose that solution.
Yeah.
Let's get
and obviously they've just put a massive thread up about it. So I think the only way to change their minds now is what Boona said: get a petition, make everyone sign up, and really show them what we want.
Paulie, your thoughts on this situation that's developed literally over the last hour now?
Being honest, I'm actually all right with it.
Oh come on! Don't give me that crap.
Yeah, well, if the reason is everybody knows now, for example, that with the exception of 30, game week 31's not going to go ahead. If they want to go and make transfers, then.
Yeah, but that isn't the argument. That isn't the argument. That's the people, if they decide to make transfers as of right now up to game week 32,
then
they're idiots.
Obviously.
But the fact that the game is punishing people like myself that have done it, whether it's a -4, 12, 32, it doesn't matter. The fact that they're actually going to be deducting those points for the games that don't exist, I think it's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, that bit is. I just think as well, if, for example, Arteta and the Chelsea player would have tested positive 2 or 3 days ago, then I think they would have cancelled the game week when that happened. It's just taken someone to be positive for him to actually decide to close all the football games.
You have to think that some people may have just taken a specific transfer, specifically just targeting game week 30, for example.
Like my transfers, I just took a -4 to get Troy Deeney in for game week 31 because he plays. But what if I don't want Jorginho now? Because that game's not even getting played.
I've just posted on Planet F. So Planet F, I'm not gonna lie, Planet FPL. James, he's actually doing a live stream right now, and there's a joke from The Simpsons that I'd love to explain, but unfortunately nobody would get it. But I've just tweeted on his thing. I've just used the hashtag boycott FPL. I've just said on his stream essentially that that's what we're talking about, that's what we're going to discuss, and I'd like to think that everybody right now, in fact, do you know what, I'm going to do it right now. If everybody wants to get on their phones and just essentially on your own page, just simply write hashtag boycott FPL, and let's just see if we can get this trending, because I think personally, and obviously tag if you can at official FPL in the tweet as well. So hashtag boycott FPL. I'll put it in the chat as well.
But one thing I will say is that I don't think there's going to be any double game weeks in 32.
How do you know?
Because it's not enough. There basically won't be enough notice, and teams won't have enough time to prepare.
I'll go one better, Anish. I don't think there'll be any football in game week 32.
Yeah.
I'm saying if there is football in 32, the teams are going to have no time to prepare, basically. It's going to be like they're in isolation, and the next day they're playing a football match. That's pretty much how it's going to be. So there will be no double game weeks announced, I don't think, for 32. 33 at the earliest, if there's any football even at that point.
Random question. What's the word that you use where something goes back to how it were a couple of days?
Reinstated.
Thank you. How do you spell it?
Reinstate.
Thank you.
Most welcome.
But now that we have
Elite spelling contest.
Welcome to Elite FPL Countdown.
You love to see it.
I mean, Godwin, you say, do you understand how crazy you would look using this hashtag? Why would we?
I'll
Why
have a
would we
consonant,
look-
please,
because-
Steve-O.
Sorry?
I'll have a consonant, please.
I don't understand how we would look stupid, because the game is essentially punishing people for doing nothing wrong. You know, like I said, if there was at least one game being played, for argument's sake, Man City versus Burnley, right? People that don't have Man City assets, i.e. me, because I sold them and I've only got Nick Pope, but the match goes ahead and that classifies as a game week, fine, take the -12. My problem, everybody else's problem, if they've used a wildcard, etc. But all this information has only just come out, as Boona said, over the last 24 hours. And Fantasy Football are basically, quite literally doing a me, sticking a middle finger up to us and saying, stuff it.
Do you know what I don't get about all these announcements is why are all these announcements being put out on social media on social times, like midnight, 2 in the morning for the Arsenal Man City game they put out.
Yes, because funny you say it, because obviously I wake up really, really early for work, and when I saw James, funny enough, talking to James from Planet FPL, actually tweet about it, I was just, that must have happened yesterday at 8-9 o'clock. Maybe Jason and the Wildcats have spoken about it. And then literally the following day, when I did a stream, I find out that it literally happened like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, what? Could you imagine if you're an Arsenal fan and you've travelled up that day or something to get to Manchester? I don't know, whatever the circumstances may be. It's absolutely crazy, and I just find it absolutely nuts. And I mean, in all seriousness, on a positive note, what did you think of Jason's post that he put up about the voting for us regarding the content awards? What did you think of the picture? Because I think it's absolutely, I'll just bring it up on screen again for anybody that doesn't know. It's cracking, isn't it, Boona?
Quality, mate.
So for anybody that doesn't know,
everyone has voted.
Yeah, I agree. For anybody that doesn't know, essentially the Football Content Awards have now allowed us to start advertising about for voting our show, our channel. And all you've got to do, it's quite simply this. If you are on Twitter, all you need to do, it's all up on screen right now, is just simply write, I am voting for @Elite FPL in at FCAs for hashtag Best in Fantasy Football. If not, if you don't have Twitter, you can go to www.footballcontentawards.com/2020-voting, and then so on and so forth. The link is obviously there. We will definitely post it up on YouTube, Discord, and everything, because I'll ask you, Boona, it would be incredible if we were able to actually get to the stage of being officially nominated.
It'd be unbelievable, but it'd be so deserved, mate. Like, all the work you guys have done up till now, like, it'd be phenomenal to get recognised for it. And like Jason said a week ago, just to even be, nominated for it would just be, amazing.
Alpine FPL, if you aren't aware, so Alpine FPL, we shouldn't have taken hits so early in the week in the current situation, Steve. I couldn't care less about that. I took my minus. When did I take the minus 12, guys? Was it Monday?
No.
Sunday? Tuesday?
It was Sunday or Tuesday, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. It was on the day that Arsenal game was postponed, so that would have been Tuesday. So if you didn't see it, I suggest that you go back and watch that, because obviously...
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
I couldn't care less that I took a minus 12. It's just quite simply the fact that, the game is punishing us for no football. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Niraj Sharma, FPL, what a mess. Absolutely.
So basically, are they going to update the overall rankings after Monday? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah. So people like me are going to be dropping even further down the Cash Money leagues. It's pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. It's crazy. I think on that note, I think we've had our say really on this whole situation. If anybody here, guys, if you want to chip in with anything you want to say right now, you got your final opportunity, because I think I'm going to end the stream now. But
yeah, for those looking for a hobby and considering some Call of Duty and FIFA action.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, if you've not played it for a while, you probably have to update COD for about 8 hours, FIFA for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
I started mine today.
Yeah, it's funny enough, actually, someone's just mentioned it just now. Who was it? AH, no more FPL streams. No. Well, from my point of view, I have not got any. Do you know what? I find it really frustrating from my point of view, because I was really, really looking forward to be streaming tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoffs. I was potentially going to be doing a stream just after the game updated, just to check over people's teams. Then I was going to do the 3 p.m. kickoffs. Then I was going to do the Chelsea game, because I would have captained Giroud. There would have been a Sunday. It would have been Tottenham versus Man U. I would have covered, and then on Monday evening I would have done the Everton Liverpool game, and then we'd have just continued as going on.
Well, Stephen, the game weeks are still going ahead officially, so you should still, do the stream and comment on the ghost games.
Yeah.
Stop! What was that about? That's a point. What was that about? You, Charlie, and various others were retweeting that particular tweet or something earlier on. What was that all about?
Oh, Paulie had shared it.
Oh, it was me. I just said that everyone needs to see it again, because it always makes
Oh,
me go.
Boona, you're going to be part of something that I'm going to record probably today or tomorrow. But I've discovered, I'm not going to reveal it now, but it's very something similar. But I've discovered what Jason's favourite word is from his stream last night, and unfortunately, you got infected yourself, and you started saying exactly the same thing.
Oh no!
It was.
Oh bloody!
It was absolutely ridiculous. This particular word. I was thinking, Jason, how many times do you want to say, and then insert word there. I think
Brilliant.
there we are, everybody. I think pretty much has got to the end of the stream. Really, there's not much more I can add. Really, all I can say is that what an absolute
What was
disaster.
what was that word you struggled with earlier, Steve?
Detector in.
No. It was. Here we go. Unanimously. There we are. I said it straight away. Unanimously.
Well done, Steve.
Well done.
So thank you very much for that, bringing that up again. And once again, everybody, for anybody that doesn't know, up on screen now is what the official Premier League game is saying. Basically, that game weeks 30 and 31 are going to exist as if the games were being played. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Cheers, Gabriel de Rob, another great listen. I do agree, it was quite fun.
Another thing as well, I feel like they're going to give us an extra wild card because, you know, when all the games are back on, there's going to be so many injured players that are injured right now but will be fit for when the games are back on. So it'll just... I feel like that'll have an effect.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
I tell you what will be interesting, Steve. Sorry, I know you.
No. Carry on. I don't mind.
Tell you what is interesting is the fact that it seems like there's a very strong chance, in fact, that the Euros will be postponed and moved to next year.
Oh, they'll be postponed. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
100%.
If that gets confirmed, there's a chance they'll push the season out into the summer. Can you imagine those players are out of contract this summer? How is that going to affect the team?
Oh.
There's lots of circumstances. I mean, not only that, but then when will the new season start?
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely concur with that. I think it will be Euros 2021. I think that's got to happen. I think it would be absolute madness to have this tournament go ahead when, like you've just mentioned, the Premier League and various other leagues across Europe and the world in general will, Europe, they will...
Sorry, Steve. Just to add a point on that, what about everyone who's arranged to be away this summer, Euro 2021, they just can't make it?
Yeah, you're basically stuffed. I mean, fair play to Manchester United. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but they offered to pay £350 towards travel and hotels for those that had tickets to that Europa League game last night.
Yeah.
Per supporter, so fair play, yeah.
Well, Manchester United are in a position where they can do it, but
of course.
I'm thinking about certain clubs or certain FAs in different countries who actually can't afford it. You know, they're depending on
Stein, you said you moved to a different area in London, haven't you? You're in Brixton.
Yeah, and I hate it.
You said you were near a police station. Well, when I was at Brixton, it was the first time I went to Brixton a few weeks ago for a gig, and you made a comment about the fact the amount of police cars, ambulances, whatever, driving past your flat, and my goodness, it was just every second. Brixton is just crazy.
It is absolutely correct. And bear in mind, I used to live out in Addington, which is just a small town outside of Croydon.
Oh right.
And now it's just chaos 24 hours a day.
Just of interest, what? Again, you don't need to go into personal details, but was it a new job? Is it just the fact that you wanted a different place? Well, why did you move to Brixton?
It was to do with work, to be honest with you.
Okay.
My company moved, and I thought, well, here's a good time for me. So I started looking at flats, and it was the only one I could afford. So that's why. So that's why I'm here now. I just wish I didn't have to do it, but I have.
Yeah, it's I didn't have a particular pleasant experience in Brixton, but again, save that for a members only video. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think many people have got much to talk about, but really do appreciate the kind words, Charlie. I'm not going to keep banging on about the particular FCAs. Thank you, FPL Maestro. Really do appreciate that. So there we are, everybody. Breaking news from earlier. Right, let's go in chronological order, make it easy for myself. Boona, any final thoughts before we finish the stream?
Yeah, just stay safe, take precautions, and don't travel unnecessarily if you don't have to. Peace, love, and respect.
Cheers, Boona. Will you be on Hangouts, anything like that, or it's not possible?
I will be on the Hangouts for the next 1 hour.
There we are, everybody. If you want to continue chatting about this situation, then Boona and various others, I'm sure, will be in their Hangouts on Discord. Cheers, Boona. Thank you.
Cheers, bud.
There's FPL Boona there. Lewis?
Like he said, everyone stay safe and all that, but make sure you tweet #boycott FPL.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think that if we could try and get that trending somehow, that would be amazing, because I just think it's terrible, to be honest with you. Lewis, cheers, dude.
Cheers, Steve. Cheers, lads.
Paulie.
I think we've basically gone through it all, haven't we? I think the only thing that I need to say is I think I need to go out and find a new hobby now for the next couple of weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Yes, for me it's going to be nice. I don't mean this literally, but it's going to be weird not streaming, but it's going to be nice not having. Like, for instance, today I wasn't really wanting to stream. I was hoping Jason would do one, but obviously he's very, very busy, so he couldn't do it. But I think we've covered everything. Paulie, thank you so much for joining us.
I've seen a bit, Steve.
Cheers, dude. Let's Anish.
Yeah, I haven't really got much more to say than what everyone else has already said. Just keep healthy, follow the precautions, and just basically try not to think about FPL too much.
You going to be in Hangouts?
Even though I know, yeah, I'll be in Hangouts for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, it's
so.
Discord's going to be very quiet.
And just to big up the Discord, and in particular the Hangouts, it's always really good.
Tell us why.
Well, there's always people around all the time, pretty much. It's like you have Aussie Boy, like odd times in the morning. Sometimes he's on, and pretty much we're like a global community, because there's loads of people like Australia, Asia, and all that. So there's always going to be like people that you can talk to, and they are quite helpful in the Hangouts in particular as well. And it's just a good laugh as well. Like, it's good to take your mind off work or stress from life sometimes, and that Hangout helps you to do that.
Absolutely.
Even though and whilst you're talking about something that you enjoy, it's a passion. Like, we all enjoy playing FPL, and like sometimes that's a good way to get away from the stresses of your normal day-to-day life.
Completely concur with that, Anish. I absolutely agree with that. I think that the Discord does allow you to mix and mingle with various people, just to take your mind off various things. Cheers, Anish.
Cheers. Take care.
And the final word goes to you, Stein.
I'd just like to say, anyone like myself who are not on Twitter or Instagram, please leave a comment on FPL FYI and let them know.
Yes,
they're absolute fools for not just cancelling game week 30, moves made between game week 29 and 30 should be reinstated, cancelled, and when the game week starts again in 32, go from. I will be using the hashtag boycott.
Before you go, I want you to expand on that, because ironically I disagree with you. I think that if people like myself that have done a -12, it doesn't matter what the hit is, that has no relevance. If you've done transfers, if you've used a wildcard free, any chips whatsoever, I personally think that those chips that whatever you've done should just happen in whatever game week starts up again. But you disagree with that. You think it should be reinstated.
Correct. And the reason why I say it should be reinstated, because those moves were the game 30, 31, which don't exist. So your moves shouldn't exist neither. Yet they're scoring you in game week 30, i.e. 0 points, i.e. -4, -8, -12, per game week that actually doesn't even exist. Yeah. So if the game week doesn't exist, how can you have points in that game week?
I agree. So, if the game had come out with and simply said, if you have done chips transfers, these will be calculated into game week 32 as it stands right now, would you have an issue with it then?
Yes, I still would have an issue, because game week 30 has different fixtures. Your transfers, chips, whatever you've used, do not apply to game week 32. They apply to 30 or 31. So if you don't have those game weeks, you should have no scoring, which means no minus, as well as no adding. It means you freeze what you had in 29, and then you start up again 32. People have a fair amount of time to consider game week 32 fixtures, because we're not 100% sure what those fixtures will actually be. Yes, they are, let's say, they're there to say that, well, we've got a list of what they should, but we can't be guaranteed they will.
I know I said this, I was going to end the stream about half an hour ago now, but I'm going to continue talking because I find this conversation fascinating.
You do that all the time, Steve.
Do you think, though, that the game itself is wrong to be continuing as if it was going normal? So, I mean, again, I do mean this in a disrespectful way, because you've got to be a flaming idiot to then continue doing transfers while this epidemic is going on. But do you think the game is wrong for being active while this situation is developing? So, for example, if someone did during, I don't know, next week at some point do some transfers, do you think that the game should just automatically come up with transfers cannot be made during, just come up with a message essentially saying you cannot do transfers?
Absolutely. I mean, look at it this way, Steve. I'm here in London considering transfers at a certain time of day. But what about the fella who's fast asleep in Singapore, who doesn't have the information? It's just not fair. Right across the board, it's not fair. What they need to do is to actually cancel everything, every move or any activity that's happened between 29 and game week 30, they need to reinstate and cancel. And then when it starts up in 32, you can go. But you shouldn't be scoring, and you shouldn't be minusing points from anyone, because everyone's only got this information less than 24 hours before the deadline. And I'm sure most of the transfers are not they're made during the week, the majority of transfers.
So it's a hypothetical question, because I know I pretty much know the answer is going to be no, but do you think the game will listen to, let's just say for argument's sake, I don't know, 20,000 people said exactly the same thing word for word in an email to the game? Do you think they'd listen?
I think if it comes, considering they have over 7 million players, they must realise.
Well, hold on a minute. Let's. I've always said this, right? Yeah, okay. It's got 7 million people, right? The game is for casual people. I mean, one of my housemates plays the game, but he doesn't play the game. Do you know what I mean? It's just somebody that, you know, it picks a team and then just leaves it as a ghost team for the rest of the season. I would say that of the 7 million people, probably 1 to 2 million are active throughout the whole season, and of that 1 to 2 million, I would say about 300,000 are like us, hardcore players. If you consider just people that interact with shows or watch shows, what do you think on that in general?
You're probably right, Steve. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it that for one. However, if that is then you're looking at probably 10% of that figure,
yes,
so around 30,000.
Yeah.
If they got a petition with around about 30,000, I think that would have a big sway in their opinion.
It's just getting that 30,000 to maybe listen, or more to the point, get that 30,000 to actually go out their way to tweet, email, do something in our power.
I think, to be honest, Steve, I think that can be done, because if you consider how many people across look at FPL content, if all the I don't know, subscribers, let's say, decided to say, you know what, hashtag boycott FPL, I think they may have to consider it.
Very, very interesting there. Really do appreciate those thought processes. Stein, thank you for joining me for the last hour or so.
Okay, no worries, Steve.
Cheers, dude.
Hopefully I'll hear from you soon.
Absolutely. Cheers, pal. See you later. There's
Bye.
there's Stein there, a regular contributor to the show with his smoke alarm. It wasn't that bad, Niraj. Calm down. I've got my headphones in. I can only hear it every other. It doesn't really matter. Well, I was not expecting that stream to go that way. Obviously, that was quite literally a live reaction to a situation which has occurred quite literally over the last hour and a half. I believe it was 3:39 that the news broke that essentially the game will be continuing as per normal, and anybody that has done transfers, wildcards, anything, unfortunately, like me, those points are going to get deducted, and I think it's poor form. I think it's really poor form from the game. I think that, as Stein said, that everything should be just cancelled. If you were people like myself that did do transfers, etc., then basically I should get it all reinstated. Bilal, can I clarify? I have 2 free transfers for game week 30. If I don't make transfers before tomorrow's deadline, will I lose? Exactly. Boona thinks that, based on what he's reading into this, that you will lose that free transfer if you don't make one. So, essentially, what the game is telling you, Bilal, is that the game's continuing. Treat it as normal. There's no fixtures, but if you don't use one of those 2 free transfers, it's just going to stay as 2 free transfers. So, yeah, it's basically just don't do anything, Bilal, and it will continue as per normal. So yeah, there we have it, everybody. There we have it. I agree with Boona. If anybody wants to be part of the, if you're part of Twitter, I've done it. Whoops, wrong page. I've done it myself. I've just done it a few seconds ago. I tweeted out quite simply this: #boycott FPL. In fact, all you've got to do is go on Twitter at Elite FPL and just retweet that. That's all you've got to do. And in fact, I'll tell you what, everybody, just to annoy him, if you go to Planet FPL stream right now on YouTube, James is still streaming. If you want to go over there when I finish now. What? It's just stopped streaming. No. Brilliant. I was hoping for the Elite FPL community just to basically bombard it with Bilal. That is the issue. I don't know who to transfer. There was game week 32 fixtures, might end up being game week 30 fixtures. Daily Llama, excellent. In fact, Llama, if you're still here, I know you're going back to work, but Llama is suggesting he's going to do a Llama Lounge at some point, maybe covering this issue. I think that would be an amazing idea, Llama, to do. In fact, do you know what, Llama? I'm telling you to do this. I'm looking into the camera right now. Do it. I'm looking into that camera. I'm telling you now, do it. Because I really, really, really enjoy the Llama Lounge. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think you're a fantastic host. I think the way you deal with everybody is superb, and the content that you produce for us is absolutely fantastic. So please, please, please do a Llama Lounge regarding this situation, because by the time you do it, there could be even more information out there. And of course, people like myself will try and bring it to you when we can. Tobias, you're late again. We're going to be going off now. And I will show that message. S Sparks, I will show it. I'm on my wildcard. FPL can go F itself. S Sparks, if you're on Twitter, Hashtag boycott FPL. I'll put it in the old whatchamacallit again? Hashtag boycott FPL. That's all you got to do, S-Sparks. So, oh right. Tobias has been watching, just not in chat. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I seriously think, Mr. Sparks, you have a grievance there, and I seriously do think that you should be writing via email, or just going on Twitter and basically expressing your opinion on your thoughts. Because I really do think people like yourself in that position where the FPL game is quite literally treating the next 2 fixtures, what it appears to be, as game weeks, I think is absolutely disgusting. Jim Parry, I don't know what the authorities decide to do. So long as Villa get relegated, keep up the Blues. Why have you retracted it? Why have you retracted that? I was reading it. Up the Blues. Jim, I've got some good news for you. Villa are going down anyway because they're rubbish. They're absolutely useless. So I wouldn't be worried about that. But I don't think the season will be, don't think it will be ending. I think there's just too much money at stake. But, again, reality is that human life should come first. Well, it has to come first. And there we are, everybody. There we are. So, all I will say is this. Godwin, it's like you guys care more about FPL than the virus. Well, trust me, mate, some of the comments that we receive, or even other live streamers, what they receive, is it's pretty disgusting, mate. And you'd be shocked at the type of crap that myself and Jason do receive. It's disgusting, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's it, my friends. I'm just going to deliberately put up on screen right now just Jason's wonderful. Let's just put it in big picture. I think that is fantastic. Obviously, I can't do Jason. I can't shrink it down, unfortunately. But there we are. There's the. Yeah, there we go. Beautifully done. Right, everybody, on that note, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on this fantastic stream. Really, really did enjoy the conversation with myself, Booner, Stein, Paulie, and Niche, and Lewis Kirkby. Lewis! Every time I hear the name Lewis, I just want to shout the name. It's funny. And yeah, just stay tuned with everything that's going on. But hopefully Daily Line will be covering something. You never know. It's very, 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 very unlikely that Jason will be doing it. But there's a chance that Jason could be doing a stream. I doubt it, but I was hoping he'd join me actually today. But unfortunately not. Yeah, he's evidently he's busy. So, what's this? Bilal. Really enjoying the stream. Currently 40 minutes behind live, but a very interesting discussion about the stupidity of FPL taking off points in Gameweek 30. Of course. Why are you behind though? Why aren't you watching it live? Anyway, whatever. Let's get out of here. It's the usual story, really. If you've enjoyed the stream, just simply hit the like button. If you're completely brand new around here and you enjoy what myself and Jason do, just simply hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Elite FPL, Instagram at Elite FPL, and get involved in the Discord. The link is in the description if you want to be part of the show, or more importantly, if you want to be part of a huge community that we have created, then Discord is the way to go, really. And as Stein and Booner and Anish testified, it's just a way of just chatting shit. Done. there we are, everybody. Take it easy, and I will see you in about 6 months' time. See ya.